Alright guys, hey, how's it going? My name is KoScoSe. If you're on this channel, then you've probably heard some of the stuff I've done. I don't know, I guess. But basically I'm just going to be showing you guys how I quickly how I made this track, Blaster, which I'll put a link down to the full track in the description. But I'm actually going to be releasing this right now, also in the description, as a free FLP, Fruity Loops, or FL Studio project. So let's quickly run through how I made this. So first off, you can hear at the very beginning. So very quickly running through this, I made some kind of offbeat things on here, so you can hear. Actually, 1 second. I'm gonna fix some gross beat stuff at the bottom. Let's open up the filters because we don't need to really worry about that. Because this is actually attached to the main melody, which is coming up. But I can't put them at some awkward offbeats. I actually did some improvements on here, fixed some frequencies and such, so it wasn't quite as bad as it was. But basically, this was just taking the melody that I have just slightly later on. I just isolated the one note and stuck it up here. And that's what you get from some of these two. Snare buildup, I basically just went into a separate project file and recorded some panned snares back and forth to get this. And this, all these samples should actually be in the project file with everything else. So it's like a good build-up and such, just as a general thing. Pitch sweep was, I basically used a Citrus plugin to create actually pitched white noise. So when it goes down, it actually kind of goes down in pitch when it's doing that. And then just took all that stuff, which is actually from a later synth thing, and you can hear some of the white noise and stuff right there. The default is where I get the Citrus. You can hear on here. I actually got this from a Dyro tutorial from Razor Music the other day, so thank you to him. But you can see it's on ring, so you can hear. It actually has pitch to it, which is pretty awesome. So altogether, and I actually just took a. This is from Vengeance Future House pack that I took, and I'm gonna say that I use that mostly because I was just kind of going through some of these drum kits a while back, and it was just something that I really liked. If I can actually, yeah, this one. I just really like the way it sounded, so I took that and then mixed it a bit with this, and you can hear this. Let's cut this off actually. And you can hear where it switches to and then goes back into it. It just kind of gets rid of the kick for half a second. Sound effects, basically took a massive thing, and this is actually from an NI Massive Future Deep House pack thing that I got. It's actually really good if you guys want to start producing Future House. Blockage, which is another one I made. If I can quickly, I took FX4 from the Switch, so that's where it comes out to. Yeah, so that's where I got the sound effects from that. But if you guys want to see, actually the blockage synth, which is still my most successful track, I basically took this preset number 24, took the cutoff all the way off of it, and then get that really driving kind of crazy sounding thing. I'm actually having to use a primary sound driver right now. I can't use ASIO because unfortunately the sound thing doesn't work on that, so let's move on. So this is actually an impact I really like. He just really gets a lot of hits into it. It's, what is it actually called? The VEC Impact 04. It's the only impact I've actually had that really has a strong sound to it. So I personally really like it. They added a piano note, which is actually almost not audible, except when you have it really down low in here. And that's on top of the melody. For the Spire thing, I actually have some free filter stuff. I actually figured out that if you, the interesting thing, take a listen to this. It's really kind of lazy stuff, but it excites it a lot, the Fruity Free filter, if you have it full power maximum. Listen to the difference between this. So you have, let me fix up KoScoSe, because that's actually something I added into it. There we go. So listen to that versus... It may not be too audible. You can hear it better with some other instruments, especially when all the sound is together, but it just adds, I think, a lot more energy and sound into what it is. So yeah, so with the sweeps and everything else, and then just once you hear the sound effects right here, turn on some panning on here, so it just goes right, you have left ear to right ear, such goes back with that. Just add some noise in the background, just add some, you know, ambiance and sound into that. I thought that was pretty cool. Headphones are slipping off, dear God. Okay, and just this is actually a cashmere fill. I just really like his sound pack that he came out with, and his fills are really good. I mean, just everything is super high quality. But let me just kick this on so you can hear kind of what it sounds like. Yeah, so I actually have a filter right here to filter it up so that it doesn't just like start slamming into the fill. So it just has this really cool build-up sound, built up a lot. It just adds so much more energy into it. Actually, I have a top loop right here. And then a cashmere fill, which is actually really awesome when it's by itself. Just love all of his fills and such. I basically just have a regular Vengeance thing, and I cut off some of the frequencies right here so that it would add some extra oomph into it. Top loop, basically just like a hat sound thing at the very top here. Add the melody to it. And that's another cool thing with the KoScoSe right here. I turned this on, so when the melody changes, it kind of comes out to this. You can hear it especially clearly. Adds kind of some variation to build up. And it kind of goes up to there. So once everything is actually added in, figured if I cut it off after kind of one run through that they would sound a bit better, but if you take off the frequency, or did a Garrick style thing with this, as far as this note, the new note. What it actually sounds like is this. If I can add this up there. It's just like one big note of some of the other instruments that you would hear on there, and tuned up a bit. The difference is all I did was just reverse it, so it kind of has this build up. And so this is actually what it sounds like, but this is a compressed kind of reversed, and that's how I added in. Yeah, so you can't hear actually too much of that, but the main thing with this is it's another massive thing. I've actually put all these presets in there for the two basses. This is actually a bass 10 thing. If I, let's see, it's actually a bit further into it. I'll speed up after this, but just so you have a basic idea of what it sounds like. It just has all the cutoffs, you know, taken off of it, except in this one it actually is cut off a bit. This one doesn't. That's what it would have sounded like versus what it sounds like now, so it's just a bit stronger. The higher melody add-ons just has some synth sounds for these two. I layered on the octaves so that you'd have a bigger kind of range and such, plus adding the pitched white noise on there. So that's when you add it all together, plus the impact right here. I added a sub bass too. And all of that has like grow speed attached to it. Not really grow speed actually, but Kickstart, Nicky Romero, which is actually really, really awesome. But and then Kick, which is like a basic Vengeance kick thing. It's an Australian kick from the Future House set, plus a sub kick, which has actually been adjusted with this. This isn't actually a massive thing, I just forgot to rename it. So yeah, this is the sub, and I just have Kickstart applied to it so that it's set for tighter. I didn't really do sub bass because it was just a bit too much, but I just did kind of a tight thing right there. So then it kind of switches back and forth. So you kind of have this piano and synth back and forth thing. So I basically kind of took the drop lead and adjusted it to a piano thing and then just cut it down so it goes back and forth. You don't really hear the piano at all after this, but it's the same kind of pitch sweep and sweep down and impact that you hear at the very beginning with a sweep snare build-up. I actually really like this. This was kind of an afterthought, but I really like it. It's an FX thing. It sounds, let me fix this. It sounds like a normal thing at first, but you have like, say, this. So you just have this kind of huge build-up thing. Let's see if it does actually. So it just has this big build-up adding thing. And also, second drop I have some claps, and so this is the clap that I use mainly. It's actually 3 claps on. There's Cashmere Classic Clap, and two others, Vengeance stuff. A lot of these were Vengeance samples for claps and such. I worked on this really quickly, but it just sounded really good. I basically built it around the drop sound and then added more into it. I was just so enthusiastic about it that I apologize for that. But let's actually hear this. This is the gross beat, the second gross beat for the second break. Just add some variety. Let it play through one time before I actually came in. So the thing is, before it kind of sounded like it just started with, and that's what it sounded like. The pattern sounded like it ended at the end there. I figured that out pretty quickly, so I adjusted it so that for the second drop you would hear the entire lead melody first, and then it would lead into the big sounding thing. So first off, you have the kicks right here. The really big sounding kicks would fit perfectly into this. Now for the second part, I kind of dropped the, because I added in this whole section right here. Basically, these were these were claps. I actually added in a cymbal ride thing right here, so you can hear the difference between it. It just the second pattern energizes it so much more. If I can. Versus that just adds a lot more sound into it. But the thing is, when you add that to the kick right here, if I just have, say, the lead melody right there, and I'll kick all of this on, you can just hear kind of the difference between it, just how much it energizes everything. So if I can actually figure this out, this is, I need to adjust, I think, the, I'm just going to like kick on every single pattern thing that I can possibly find, just so I don't actually lose any sound. Yeah, here we go. So this is, I'll kick this off at the very beginning and then just add it in later. Let's get this back on. There we go. So let's just actually just adjust this so you can hear it pretty well. So that in itself already adds a ton of energy, and then you have the white noise coming in about right here, which just adds a huge amount more into it. So if you add this all together, to add some variation to it, I actually change the key of one of these things, it just sounds kind of weird. I'm kind of want to fix that in the future, but it's already out, so oh well. But yeah, it just had so much more energy in the second time, and so it keeps some variety going so you don't get tired of hearing it again. And also for this second time, I actually added in like an octave higher than that, so it goes up into like the 8th octave, so it just has some super, covers all of the different pitch ranges and gives it a bit more variety than the first drop you have. So very quickly at the end, basically start taking out just instrument after instrument, take out the sub bass first, and then start cutting it off after 2.5 beats. So. So you have the entire ending period. The reason why I actually put the snare buildup right here is the fact that when it cuts off at this point, this lead melody, if you don't have something ending that beat and you just have empty space, when the fill and the end comes in, it actually sounds like it's off the beat in some way. So I have this fill so that when it ends up here, then it starts a new beat right here, which covers 4, 4, right up to the fill, so that fill is on the last beat, and then starting a new beat right here, and it finishes it up, so you can hear what I'm talking about. So first off, this is without it. You don't have really any kind of defined ending for that period, so that's why you have the snare build-up. So. And it just kind of ends, but it kind of subconsciously gives you an idea of that whole range area. And I just finish it up with impact and a sweep down. So then just some volume things right there. Basically, yeah, I have a lot of different things for this. I have some stereo fixing and panning and whatever, but everything should be in the project file from what I have, except for the basic plugins that you'll need. Obviously, you'll need FL Studio for this, and with all of its stock plugins, which include like FL keys and 3x oscillator and such. But I never actually added a snare into this, I just realized that. But basically what you'll need for this as far as plugins go, you can probably already say you'll need Massive a lot. 7 times, in fact. You'll need Massive, Spire, Citrus you'll already have, and then Silent. Silent isn't really required, and this is actually a Kashmir preset thing. So unless you actually get the splice sounds of Kashmir, which I would actually really recommend you do, you won't actually get this bass sound at the very beginning, but that's this thing. Which I basically just created, took the volume down a lot, had some reverb and delay, fattened it up with sausage fattener, and then put a camel crusher on it, which just added in some kind of grit to it, which fit below the spectrum pretty well. But yeah, so there you go for now. You won't actually probably need Silent, considering it's only used actually 1 time, and unless you have the splice sounds of Kashmir, unless you want to swap it out for some other bass sound, you probably won't need it. You may already have it anyways though. So all the other samples and such should actually be in there, including some of the drum samples and such. So that should actually be about it. I think I've taken this on long enough, so yeah, nearly 25 minutes, so thanks so much for watching, guys. Everything should be in the project file, and we will see you guys later. Bye.